Greetings, everyone. How are you doing today? I certainly hope that all of you are doing just fine. And I tell you what, I'm doing fine myself. Matter of fact, I'm doing even better now that I'm here with you. So I would like to say thank you very much for tuning in. I tell you, I am so appreciative for you being with me on today. And I would like to welcome all of you to another episode of TJ's Topics. And of course, you already know who I am. I am TJ. And it is such a pleasure to be with you on today. I consider it a joy, an honor, and a privilege to be able to come into your presence on any given occasion. It really means a lot to me. Now, I'm going to get into this topic that I have today in just a second. But first, I want to take a moment to acknowledge a couple of things. Number one, this is the weekend of the observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Of course, we all know that he was actually born on January 15th, but it's the third Monday in January when we observe his birthday. So it all falls in line with this weekend right here. If you're watching the weekend of January the 18th, 19th, or 20th, anywhere along in there, then we are celebrating the birthday of one of the major icons of the civil rights movement. And secondly, this is leading up to the presidential inauguration. That's right. Getting ready for the inauguration of, you know what? I'm almost convinced that Donald Trump would be the vice president and Elon Musk would be the president. Because basically Elon Musk is the one who seems to be trying to call the shots. And the word is spreading globally. I mean, Elon wants to, he has Trump by the strings. I'm telling you, it just doesn't make any sense. But nevertheless, we're going to get through this together. Now, let's get on down to business, shall we? With the topic for today, which is certain things are going to end with us. That's what I'm talking about today. Certain things are going to end with us. Now, what are those things? Oh, they could be a number of things. Traditions and beliefs, certain forms of entertainment, knowledge. I mean, a whole bunch of stuff, you know. And I'm going to tell you this too. Now, certain things are going to end with all of us when we leave this world. True enough. However, I would like to point out that, I feel that there are certain things that should have ended before we came into this new year. I mean, there are a number of things that we're going to see in the year of 2025 that probably should have been left back there in 2024, such as ignorance, stupidity, foolishness, confusion, conflict, anger and animosity and bitterness. Oh, and the list goes on and on. All of that should have been left back there in 2024. But you got a lot of people out here who are going to drag some of that same old mess over into this new year with them. And matter of fact, many of them already have, because some of them simply don't know how to let go. They harbor unforgiveness, which is such a terrible thing to do, because By harboring all that unforgiveness, all they're doing is causing themselves more pain, more agony, and a lot more misery, sleepless nights, and think of the sickness that comes upon them, you know, holding on to all these grudges and, being mad at folk for no reason. Meanwhile, the world is going on about its business and people are going on about their daily lives, not even knowing or caring for that matter that those people are upset and bothered about something or somebody for whatever reason. But there are a number of things that are going to end with us. Now, see, here's the thing. Anger and all of that, it has a way of taking its toll on our health and our mentality. I mean, it manifests itself in such negative ways in our bodies and our minds and everything else. But try telling some people that and they, they don't care. They're going to be mad from now until the moon drips down in blood. They don't care. Now, for just a moment, let me kind of go over a few things that I feel need to end with us. I mean, what are some of the things that need to end with us? There are a lot of them, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to try to go through all of them. I'm just going to name some of the top things that I feel need to end with us as we journey through this world, walking throughout this planet from day to day. And every step we take and every move we make, we are getting closer to the day when all of this, when we're going to leave this junk behind, and all of the negative feelings and emotions that have been bottled up inside of so many of us over the years, we're going to turn that loose too. All that. It won't even matter when that time comes. So beginning with number one, some of the things that need to end with us. Discrimination of all kinds. And we all know how awful being discriminated against is. Whether it's because of your skin color, your hair texture, the language you speak, your beliefs and practices, your economic status. I mean, there are so many things that cause us to be discriminated against. Your gender. Now that causes discrimination as well. Because think of all of the people who've been looked over jobs and promotions and stuff, all because of their genitalia, what they were born, if they were born a female or a male, because men can be discriminated against too. So it really doesn't matter, and it's really a shame that at this point in time, people still have that kind of mindset. Number two, hatred in its many forms. Now, we can pinpoint so many things in society that people like to use in order to hate somebody. I mean, it's all sorts of things. Hatred and discrimination, they tend to go hand in hand. They sort of tie in with one another in a sense. Number three, bigotry. I think we have seen a lot of bigotry over the years. You know, it used to be a lot of good TV shows on back in the day that demonstrated bigotry, you know. For those of you who are old enough to remember those shows, like All in the Family, Archie Bunker, the Jeffersons, and Sanford and Son, and so many others that were on during that time. And they tried to tell so many different stories and demonstrate to the world just how stupid and ignorant people can be. And I think they did a very good job at it. But bigotry is something that, you know, nobody deserves under any circumstances. Indoctrination by way of religion. Now, you know what? Being a child of the, well, I was born in the 70s, but I grew up primarily in the 80s and 90s. So being a child of that era, you know, Generation X, I know all too well about indoctrination. I think all of us who were born in that era, and even the baby boomers, and back even further, all of us have experienced indoctrination. The millennials, they've been indoctrinated too. And I'm telling you, but you know what? There are a number of babies being born right now and little kids who I think won't be quite as indoctrinated as we have been, us older ones, because, you know, these newer generations, they're not buying into a lot of that stuff when it comes to religion and all of the the dogma and the rhetoric and stuff that we heard and and that was shoved down our throats over the years. The televangelist and all that kind of stuff, the mega churches and the mega pastors, they're not falling for that anymore. Matter of fact, they're not falling for it at all. I won't say anymore because look, we're the ones who fell for it. Because it sounded good and they made it look good with their prosperity teachings and the big cars and the private jets and the money and the clothes and the jewels. You know, I for one was definitely into all that. But once I learned better, number 5, the weaponization of the scriptures. You know, using the Bible to beat folks over the head, figuratively speaking. I tell you, you know, taking scriptures out of context, making them say whatever they thought it said or what it meant to them in order to chastise someone, you know, criticize and condemn others, all because of the way they live their lives and the way they believe or don't believe. The Bible has been used in ways that it should have never been used. And the scriptures have been, oh, I mean, they have been twisted and turned and everything, all in an effort to promote numbers 1, 2, and 3, discrimination of all kinds, hatred in its many forms, and bigotry. See, all that goes together. And that's what we have. And the division that is caused in amongst humanity. I mean, it's awful. Number 6, politicizing everything. Now, I want you to think about something for just a moment. You know, we have this thing called Christian nationalism, where they claim to be promoting a Christian life and Christian beliefs, but all they're trying to do is control the way people live, how people act, what people do and don't do. Christian nationalism. And I don't think that too many people are aware of what this latest presidential election really entailed. I mean, uh, there were a lot of people supporting Donald Trump who were in favor of Christian nationalism, which ties in with politics because it has nothing to do with Christ. Nothing, not in the least bit. It had nothing to do with Christ. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go even further by saying that there are a lot of things that people promote, that they claim pertains to Christ, but they really don't, such as a number of holidays we celebrate, like Christmas, Easter, those type of things, Thanksgiving. They really don't have anything to do with Jesus. Because for one thing, a number of those holidays were being observed long before Christ ever came on the scene. And if people would ever do their research, then they would know that. And they would know that, look, they talking about people who are taking Christ out of Christmas. But how can you take Christ out of something that he was never a part of to begin with? Because look, Jesus wasn't born on December 25th. And a lot of the rituals and the things that we practice, it's not even pertaining to Christ. It's just stuff that we like to do. Number 7, dipping and dabbing in everybody's business. Now that's something that definitely needs to be left back there. And it definitely needs to end with us. Because who wants people in their business all the time? That's just, it's awful. I, for one, don't care what people do in the privacy of their own home or what they do away, here and there, or who they're with. I'm not there, and it certainly doesn't involve me in any kind of way. It's not hurting me, so I say as long as they're not hurting anybody or hurting themselves, so what? It is what it is. And finally, number 8, homophobia. Now, when it comes to homophobia, oh man, I tell you, oh my goodness, I could talk on that for probably about the next 35 or 40 minutes. But since I'm not going to be on here that long, I will say this. If you or someone you know is a part of the LGBTQ plus community, but you yourself are not, you are a heterosexual, you're a cisgender male or female, you're a man, you're a woman, all that kind of stuff. You find the opposite sex appealing, and you would never envision yourself being with someone of the same gender or being attracted to them. Then why would you or anyone who is of that character or nature get upset about someone who may be attracted to the same gender, the same sex, or involved in a relationship of some kind with the same sex? Mad at someone who is a lesbian or a a gay man or whatever, same gender loving, that's the term, transgender. And see, that's what this election, the election of Donald Trump / Elon Musk was about, trying to eradicate people whom they deem are unfit to even exist. And that would include the LGBTQ plus community. See, these are some of the things that need to end with us. This stuff doesn't need to carry over to another generation. It really shouldn't. a matter of fact, I think it should have been left back there in the 80s, during the Reagan administration. So now I want to hear from you. Can you think of some things that need to end with us, whether it's certain traditions or beliefs or whatever? Because the truth is, every generation has different tastes, and no two generations are going to believe the same or be the same, live the same, act the same. Everyone is different. They have their own perspectives. Everyone's perspective is different. Everyone's view of the world is different. So, but I'd love to hear from you, and I would greatly appreciate your comments and everything. So I want to thank you very much for tuning in today. I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you again next time for another episode of TJ's Topics. There's no telling what I'll be talking about. This is Taryn Jerome Harris, reminding you that every round goes higher and higher. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.